Hi, this is Chris with a K here from the Thoughts and Theories podcast. And if you haven't heard about Anchor, it is hands down the easiest way to start a podcast. And I'll explain to you in five very good reasons why that claim is solid. One, it's free, completely free. My favorite four-letter F word. Who does not like the word free? I don't know nobody who doesn't like it. If you don't, what's wrong with you, right? Two, the tools Anchor allows you to record and edit your podcast from your computer and your phone. So this thing can be mobile for you. Three, Anchor is going to do all the distribution for your podcast. So you can put your podcast on major platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. Four, you're eligible to make money from your podcast. Something about getting paid to talk about what you want to talk about. Sounds like a deal to me. And five, it is a one-stop shop. So everything you need to make a podcast, you can get on Anchor. So all you have to do is download Anchor for free through the app. Or you can go to anchor.fm to get started. That's it. It's super simple. That's all. So don't miss out on this great opportunity. Take advantage and start your podcast life today. Welcome to episode 6, Picking Up Sticks of the Thoughts and Theories podcast, brought to you by Chris with a K. If it's not your first time, thank you for returning. And if it's your first time, please check out the link. You're going to see it whatever platform you're using, whether you're watching this on YouTube, IG, listening to it on, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or any other podcast platform. Please check out the link, which should be chrisative.com, spelled KRISATIVE, which is going to allow you to connect with me on all my social media platforms that I'm on and support me, because I do have a merch store with some fresh gear, some fresh shirts, sweaters, and tank tops. Oh my. But yes, definitely support your boy, as well as leave me a voice message through the Anchor app, which is the app I'm using to record this podcast, completely free. And yes, it's a free app to download for you and completely free to leave me a voice message. The reason why I like your voice message is because it gives me feedback on the podcast, lets me know how you're doing, and I really want to interact, and make having relationships with people cool, interacting, engaging with people, getting to know people, because we're humans, and they say the most precious currency on this planet is relationships, right? That's the reason why we do this podcast, not just talk for no reason, but establish relationship, build bridges, and so forth. But now that that's out the way, the funny thing about my podcast is that it's ever growing, ever evolving, and I literally talk about whatever I want, in a sense, because the podcast is just highlighting what's going through my thoughts, my head, my thoughts and stuff right now. I'm tongue twisted right now. But anyways, so today I'm going to talk about a subject. It's something that I've recently discovered, and it's like the best thing in the world to me right now, and that thing is, when I say what I'm about to say, you're going to be like, okay, I know this brother, I know this man did just not say that. Literally, he made a podcast literally talking about this subject. Of all the things in the world, he made a podcast talking about this, and I'm going to explain why I'm talking about this. You ready for the big reveal, folks? Are you ready for the big reveal? All right. Well, the podcast today I'm talking about is butternut squash. And you're like, wait, did this guy just mention food that no one really rarely mentions? And we're talking about butternut squash. Like, wait, what's going on, Chris? Well, like I said, this podcast is about my thoughts and theories. So who knows what the forecast is going to be for the podcast? And the forecast today is butternut squash. The reason why it's butternut squash, thanks to Michelle. I call her my food mother, who runs a nice, restaurant at Yellow Farmers Markets, open only on Saturday and Sunday, from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's called Something Nice to Eat Bistro. It's the best restaurant on this planet. I am biased because I follow alkaline plant-based diet. and that restaurant is completely alkaline, so I never have to question anything on the menu. So it's the only place I can literally eat at down here that I don't have to question or try to, customize the order to make sure everything's alkaline, plant-based on the menu. But here's the point. A couple weeks ago, it was Thanksgiving. Was that last? It was actually last week. A couple weeks ago, but it feels like it. Cheryl, everything she basically touches with her hand to make, that's food tastes great. It just always tastes great. It's just that's her gift. To bless people's hearts and stomach. To create heaven on a plate. That's what she literally does. Okay. So she's not very fond of baking. Not saying that she can bake, because she can bake, but she's just not fond of it. She doesn't really like baking. So because of Thanksgiving, she happened to make her surprise not meatloaf. As you guys know, plant-based means you don't eat meat, so you just call it meatloaf just to relate what she made to something that we're familiar with that came from eating meat, right? But that thing was scrumptious. Oh my gosh, it was so good. I'm hungry thinking about it now. Oh my gosh, I need to see if she makes more of that. But anyways, then also, in spirit of Thanksgiving, she also made this butternut squash pie. It's supposed to be the alkaline version of a sweet potato pie, because sweet potato pie is not alkaline. So she finds stuff that we're used to, and she makes an alkaline version of it. Butternut squash is literally in a squash family. And this pie was like the best pie I ever tasted in my life. Oh my gosh, it was so good. I was fake mad at her because I'm like, yo, this is something that should be on the menu every week. These pies would go like crazy. I mean, I haven't tasted Patti LaBelle's pie, but like the craze that went over that, like this is like the Popeye's chicken of pies. Like the craze going over the Popeye chicken sandwiches. This is the same thing, but with pies, and these pies are actually good and healthy for you, right? Because all the ingredients are alkaline. She went out her way. She did her thing on this. Like, it was so good. Sorry, yawning. They were so good. I literally bought 2 pies. Pies came with 6 slices apiece, and them things were gone. Every day I had like a couple of slices. Those things, oh my gosh, were so good. Wow, it was like the best pie I ever tasted in my life, right? But unfortunately, she doesn't bake. She doesn't like baking, and she's like, oh, that's the only time it bakes when I get it, Chris. So that's the reason why I had to buy them up. And I'm kind of in the spirit of trying to learn the recipe myself so I can recreate it, because I want to share my joy with you guys. These pies, it doesn't make no sense of how good these things are. Like, if heaven could reside in a pie, this is exactly where it would be. Oh my gosh. I mean, this pie was so good, it made a brother Harlem shake. Like, good. Like, I want to come up with a jingle for this thing. But it was that good. So, just finding out it was made out of butternut squash. There's other recipes she's made with butternut squash, and butternut squash has been a good taste. As you know, if you didn't know, I can't do French fries anymore. Let me say that. I can't do French fries made out of potatoes. I can't do potatoes because it's not alkaline, because it's filled with starch. Starch is a man-made chemical used just to bond things together, and it's not good for the body. So no more, Chick-fil-A fries, nothing like that. So fries is probably one of the greatest finger foods of all time. If you ask anybody that's a human that loves, finger food, if you ask little kids, that's probably their go-to French fry. That's their go-to food, right? So I'm like, man, I wish I could have some type of fries. And I'm gonna be honest. I've been lazy in my research and like finding alkaline alternatives to foods, but squash is similar to that of a potato, and not just any potato, like a sweet potato. It is really, 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 really good, right? So this thing is so good. So I decided to take it upon myself, because I'm always working or out doing deliveries of Uber. I really don't have time to really get my chef game on in the kitchen. If I had more time to myself, oh my gosh, I would be slaying the game right now. I'll be taking people to food heaven. But it's just I haven't made time for that yet. But I think I'm gonna make time for that, because butternut squash, it is just amazing. This is considered a winter squash. So it's grown in cold weather. The cool thing about this thing can be stored up to a month to 2 months. You want to store it in a place with no sun and cold, so it ripens not as fast, if that makes sense. So basically all you do, if you take a butternut squash, cut it in half, place it on a piece of parchment paper and a baking tray, put it in the oven for about 50 to 55 minutes on 350, and take that bad boy out. Literally, this thing is so good, you don't even need to add any ingredients on it. You can take it out and it tastes good just as that. But you know me, I'm extra, since I found this new discovery. I can either, take a more flavorful route and make it a little bit, add salt to it and little seasons to it, and have like my own version of alkaline mashed potato, but just squash form. Or I could take this dessert route, which I did, and add some cinnamon to it and some agave, or date syrup or maple syrup. And oh boy, let me tell you, this thing was hitting, it was banging. It made a great snack after work, made a great snack after lunch. Oh my gosh, it was so good, people. Butternut squash. So the reason why I decided to talk about this today, not because of the wonderful introduction of it, because I happen to be at work today. If you guys don't know, I work in a warehouse. I pick and pack contact lenses. My job description is known as a fulfillment specialist. It's just a bougie way of saying I pick and pack contact lenses. I grocery shop basically for contact lenses in a warehouse full of contact lenses with a scanner. It's pretty fun. I walk at least 2 to 4 miles a day minimum, so I get a free workout in my upper abdomen section and like my arms, so it's a great free workout. Get some squats in right now and whatnot. You're inside and AC and stuff like that. So I happened to run into a coworker and I was like, yo, I work with like 150 people in the warehouse, so on the side of the warehouse where it's picking, probably working at least with like anywhere between, I would say 40, I'm probably a little about anywhere between, let's say, 80 to 110 people, but they're all scattered out on the floor. I'm probably overshooting or undershooting, but whatever the case may be, I'm working with a lot of people on the floor. I ran into one coworker and I was like, yo, have you ever tasted butternut squash? She was like, what? She looked at me like I was completely crazy. I'm like, why is she looking at me like, I'm like, why are you? She's like, no. And I'm like, oh, why? Did you ever have it? She's like, no. So I'm like in my head, why are you judging something? Why are you judging the book by its cover? Like, why are you judging something that you didn't even try? You can't say you know something you didn't even try. Like, you can't say it's not good or bad because you didn't try nothing, But she just gave me a run. Then I asked another coworker and he was like, yeah. I was like, why you just make a face like, oh my gosh, you did something? He's like, I just didn't like the taste. So he tasted. It wasn't for him. And I asked one more person, they never heard of it. And it came to me quickly that squash is probably not a popular food in the name of foods to bring up to ask people if they ever tried, because squash is very, it's affordable. It's there in the produce section where they keep vegetables in the store and stuff like that, but it's just not. Some people pick it because I guess the primary thing they go to from that family would be a potato, but butternut squash is the bomb.com. This stuff is good. But point is, I was like, man, y'all missing out. In the store, like to buy butternut squash was like $2 and some change, and it makes like a decent snack, maybe a lunch, because of my diet. Eating right and whatnot, it allows me to not eat as much, and I'm not as hungry as much, which is the cool thing. So I don't have to eat that much to be full, and whatnot. I can eat a little and be content. So I decided to try to eat fruit when I first get up, and some type of fruit when I go to sleep. Because if you guys didn't know, your body, most of the time the energy that people lose a lot in their body goes most to digestion, because they're eating food that they're not supposed to be eating. And because you're eating something foreign to the body that the body is not familiar with digesting it, it's like, oh, I don't know how to digest this. This wasn't made for me. they're using more excess energy on digesting food, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm hungry again, but I just ate, But if you're eating the right food, guess what? Your body's using less energy to digest that food. That food takes way less to digest. You have more energy and whatnot. So I try to eat fruits to begin my day, end my day. In the middle, that's when I eat everything else, which right now is just maybe like vegetables and grains. I've been eating, the squash, butternut squash, all this week for my vegetable, and for my grain, fonio, spelled Fonio. Fonio. It's like a grain. It's kind of like what's similar to grits. That's the best thing I can put it. Similar to grits. It's decent. I'm not mad at it, and stuff like that. So I'm just trying to incorporate a more diverse variety in my alkaline diet. The butternut squash is rich in vitamin A, some calcium, some iron, some stuff like that. So it has a lot of nutrients that come with it, and stuff like that. So I'm just trying to have a well-round balance, check everything off the list from this guide, this list I look from, in all the sections kind of thing. So yeah, and I'm always on the go, so I have to prep stuff when I get up. I don't really have that much time to prepare things like I want to, just because I don't use the microwave. The microwave is no bueno. Think about it. It's a machine that's emitting microwaves, radiation to your food. So your food is being killed of the nutrients that's in it when you're microwave it. So you're not getting the full nutritional value. And because it's radiation, that's going to affect your body in a negative way. So I usually use like a toaster oven, but like a lot of times I just eat stuff at room temperature that I make. I cook it on the stove, like the fonio, I cook it, comes out like grits, and then actually don't warm it up or the squash after I bake the squash, But yeah, that's exactly how my day went. So like really, I'm on this adventure of squash. Like, I do have a merch store, so please check that out. I have shirts right now. I have like 3 different shirts. They're pretty neat and stuff like that. I have some sweaters, versions of those shirts. A hoodies version of a shirt. I think I have a sweater of one. Some tank tops, men and women, shirts, men and women. Yeah, just doing big things here. So I have an idea for a shirt for squash. I'm not gonna say it yet until I make it, and it's gonna be funny. It's gonna be hilarious. Yep, I have it in my head right now. It's gonna be very hilarious. But yes, definitely have a lot of things I want to do with squash. I want to learn how to make that butternut squash pie, because once I do, I'm gonna be in the game, baby. I'm gonna be selling pies. Patti LaBelle's not gonna have anything on me, right? And other than that, maybe like soups, maybe definitely make some fries and stuff like that, but I don't like peeling the skin off. It sucks. But that's my goal, to take butternut squash to the next level, to the point that my name becomes synonymous with butternut squash, or even the word squash. But yeah, that's what I'm just so in love with right now when it comes to food. Butternut squash, favorite vegetable right now on this planet, because it can be used as a meal or a treat, so which is pretty cool. But yeah, that's definitely it. Sorry I had to bore you talking about squash, but I want to know if you guys tried squash before. So if you're on YouTube right now, please leave a comment, or if you're on Instagram, but this whole thing is not going to be posted on Instagram because there's a limit. So if you're on YouTube, leave a comment, or if you're using the Anchor app, which I recommend is the first place you should listen to this, first and foremost, because you have the option of sending me a voice message through the apps completely free. So when I ask questions, guess what? You guys can get involved, engaged back, and I can choose a later date to look at those comments and just talk about it and whatnot, because I do want to engage and partner with you guys. Partner with you guys. Not I'm saying partner with you guys, but I do want to engage with you guys and keep you guys in the loop, and not just sit here and hear me talk the whole time. That's the reason why I keep reiterating: leave a voice message or leave a comment, on any not just on the video here on YouTube, but leave it on any of my Instagram posts talking about this. I should be posting a post about this. But definitely, oh yeah, if you're on YouTube, IG, please like this and share this. Please share this. It'll mean a lot to me if you can share this. That'll mean so much to me. But yes, other than that, I do want to know what you guys' favorite vegetable is if it's not squash, and let me know if you did try squash or not. If you did, yay, yippee. And if not, and you do not care that you didn't try it, you're missing out on life. That's all I'm going to tell you. So thank you for stopping by today to the Thoughts and Theories podcast. Please make sure you start this podcast on Anchor. You follow me here on Anchor. It would mean a lot to me. And remember, butternut squash is where it's at, folks. But yeah, some Chris with a K. I'm out this piece. Sorry, yarn break like last year. So stay awesome. Remember, you're not a mistake. You make mistakes just like I make mistakes. But guess what? You're not a mistake, even though we make mistakes. Sorry to confuse you, but that's the best way I can put it. All right. So thank you. And hopefully I'll be back tomorrow. Like I said before, my goal is to upload every day. But I don't want to that's what I eventually want to get to. But what I do want to err on the side of that is that do not feel bad if I do not post anything on the day. Post a podcast, because life happens. But a goal is to have a podcast every day. But we'll see how that works out to see if it's overwhelming. If it's not overwhelming, I'll do it. But if it is, I'll have to pause on it and still post podcasts, but it just won't be every day. All right. So yes, thank you for tuning in. You're awesome. Chris with a K out. And thank you for tuning in to the Thoughts and Theories podcast. Peace.